So during today's Nintendo Direct, being March 27th, 2025, Nintendo announced a brand new Nintendo app. Yes, yet another one. And this one is called Nintendo Today. I want to explain what this app is about. I will say really quick as a preface that I wish Nintendo would kind of find a way to combine all their apps instead of making individual apps, because we got Nintendo Switch Online, we got Nintendo Music, we got Nintendo Today, and it just goes on. And I feel like it'd be a better ecosystem to kind of combine it somehow. Then again, I think maybe having them separate allows people to pick and choose, what features they would like to have. And that's also saves space on your phone. So, or whatever device. So, that's good. But anyways, let's talk about Nintendo Today. If you do enjoy this one, leave a like, subscribe for more. Obviously Nintendo Switch 2 Direct next week. We're going to be covering a lot of that. Lord willing, all goes as planned. It's going to be really exciting times. And if you missed anything with the Nintendo Direct today, I have a few reactions up on the channel. But let me throw some screenshots up on screen. We're going to kind of walk you guys through what this app is. Excuse me. So when you first boot into the app, what you're going to see is this first screenshot. Basically, it's going to tell you that there's all these game designs you could choose from. Now I'm going to end up choosing The Legend of Zelda, and but there's a bunch of different designs you can see. There's one for Splatoon, there's one for Animal Crossing, for Mario, for Pikmin, for Zelda, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just going to basically be the theme of the app, the background, and just the style of things. So that's the first thing. And again, second screenshot I'll show you guys is exactly what you guys can see. It says select the game series you're interested in. This actually has nothing to do with the themes. These are the game series that you want to get news about. It says at the bottom you can receive information each day about the game series you're interested in. So if for some reason you're not interested in, let's say, Animal Crossing, or maybe only Animal Crossing, you can either unselect or select them as you choose. You just click on them. There'll be a check mark, and I selected them all because I'm interested in everything Nintendo, hence this Nintendo channel. I'm a Nintendo nerd. Next screenshot shows you the home page. So you can see the bottom middle of the app, there's a home, a calendar, and a profile. I'm not going to show you the profile section because that shows some personal information like email address and all that. But I'll show you guys the other stuff, including the settings tab as well, which is, I guess, a little hidden, maybe. Anyways, we'll see in a second. So this is the home. This will show you the current day that it is today. For example, today is March 27th, the time of recording this, Thursday, 2025. We can see that there is a Nintendo Direct that was scheduled today for 10 a.m. Eastern time. It's going to show it in my local time zone. If I scroll down, I can see a variety of different news and everything like that, which is fun. Now, what if I click on one of these news articles? So I clicked on one that just kind of introduces the Legend of Zelda series, right? If we scroll to the bottom, there's actually a way to kind of interact with these news articles. So you can click, useful or funny or cool or cute. You can see I clicked cool. So did 88% of other people. And, so it shows the check mark of which one you selected and all that good stuff. And that's that. And then it shows you, another article you can check at the bottom or whatever, which in this case is some secondary artwork for Fire Emblem. So you can also see things that are not necessarily directly, news per se, but maybe artwork and different things like that, or introductions to certain game series. And the next one is going to be the calendar. So I'm going to show you guys a couple different things about the calendar. So for example, you can see that all the stylization of this calendar, including the font of the numbers, is going to be in the Legend of Zelda theme specifically because I chose that theme. Again, it's going to be dependent on what theme you choose. It's going to look a little bit different. And then of course we have Sundays that are going to be in red. All the weekdays are in white. Saturdays are in blue. And then you can see that there's kind of like a little gold icon, a little gold dot on some of the days. And that's just for me, right? So for example, on the 20th, of course, if I would have clicked on that, it would have showed you that Xenoblade Chronicles X released on the 27th. That's today. We already kind of discussed that. Now, what if we go ahead? So I went to April, for example. This is another screenshot. And in April, you can see on the 2nd, we have the Nintendo Switch Direct, specifically for the Nintendo Switch 2. And it tells me the time in my local time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And then again, there's a bunch of other dots. Now, some of these dots, some of the news and things that are in this calendar is going to be stuff like, I don't know, it could be anything, right? It could be like if you so choose, you can opt in to see like even Nintendo tournaments and things that are going to be taking place. You can opt out, which is kind of the next part. So you see there's a cog wheel in the top right corner. You can go and click that, and it's going to bring you to the settings. And we can go to the settings for the calendar, and it can show you, your calendar settings, display settings. So for example, I want to see all the Nintendo Directs. I want to see anything that has to do with Nintendo Switch Online, release and distribution dates, including demos. So that's anything like game releases and demo releases, upcoming or recommended events that are centered around my favorite game series. And then there's other events. You see the bottom, which is going to include tournaments, trial sessions, and other events held in various regions. I don't have that on just because I don't typically have the opportunity to attend these in-person events, if you will. But yeah, so again, you can kind of pick and choose what you want to see in your calendar, which is really nice. So, if you don't want to see anything that has to do with, I don't know, Nintendo Switch Online, let's say, you can uncheck that and, whatever, kind of do it as you will. Now, if I kind of move forward, you can see kind of my calendar here, and this will kind of give me a little bit of an idea of what is kind of upcoming. And so this was actually today's. So if I go to March 27th and I scroll down on that page, we can see a bunch of different stuff. For example, the Nintendo Directs at the top. And there's also these little bell icons, which I'll talk about in just a quick second. But we can also see that Nobunaga's Ambition is available on the Super NES. So is the other version, Nobunaga's Ambition, Lord of Darkness, is also available. I don't know much about these games. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 4, Wall of Fire, apparently is also available on Super NES. And Uncharted Waters, New Horizons is also available. At the bottom, we can see, monthly mission rewards. A monthly mission has to do with Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Bros. 3. And there's icon element event for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. So there's a bunch of stuff that we can see that is ongoing or available as of today or whatever else, which is really nice. So that's cool. If you hit the bell icon, you can see the next screenshot. We can choose basically a notification that will pop up, kind of like you would in your calendar on your actual phone. But this will be, 15 minutes before, 30, 1 hour, 1 day before. And you can do that in the app itself. The last thing I think I'll note is that there is browsing history. So let's say there's an article you read, and you can't find it again for whatever reason, and you want to go back and find it. You can just go to your browsing history. You can see which day even that you looked at that article at, and then you can go ahead and access it that way, super easy through your browsing history. So I think that's the gist of it. I think that's kind of, the main elements that I wanted to kind of go over. If there's anything else that you have questions about, let me know in the comment section below. I was kind of playing around with this app a little bit and wanted to kind of bring you guys a little sort of quick guide and tutorial on how to sort of navigate your way through this app. I think it's a cool app. You might say like, well, I could just put these events in my calendar myself. Yeah, you could, but from experience, I'm always doing that, and it gets tedious, especially when there's a lot of things, and there might be things you don't think of, or this is just nice. I like it personally. Like I said, I kind of wish that there was kind of maybe an option to have it all in one single app, but I like it. I think it's cool to be able to go in there and see like, hey, what's coming up for Nintendo? Maybe there's something I missed. Maybe there's something I don't have in my calendar, that I forgot to write down. And I think it's a really nice way, and to just get caught up with all the news. And they said with Nintendo Switch 2 when that releases, there's going to be, ongoing Nintendo Switch 2 news updates that you can see in here. And they're also going to be continuing their Nintendo Directs and everything else that they continue to do. So yeah, it's just a nice way to stay up to date with what's going on with Nintendo. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you plan to download it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you not care? And if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, and I'll see you guys soon in another one. Tell them, friends, game on. Thanks for watching.